We're back with Jeffrey Wright. This is a film that tackles a lot of very serious issues, and a lot of the film is very serious, but it's also a satire, and it's really funny.
Yeah.
But playing satire is not the way you would act in a comedy. You have to be both aware of it, but have to, I would say, approach it with a real sincerity.
Well, I think that satire in our film is really tragedy in disguise. Disguised as comedy.
Yeah.
You know? The film, you know, we're a small film.
Yes.
We shot in 26 days. I think the budget of our film was probably the catering budget for the Batman movie.
Yeah.
You know? But we're punching above our weight, and we really loved this script. It's a small movie with big ideas, and these are conversations that we're having in the film that we're having across our country right now. Conversations around race and scary, right? And identity and inclusion and history, and so it's really it's a story for the times. I think that's one of the reasons that people are responding to it, but it's also a story about a family that's as insane as anyone else's family. So if you are born of a family, you will find a place in this film. And it's those elements that kind of give it this emotional depth, while the satire and the social commentary on the other side, give it a buoyancy. But you're able to take in these otherwise difficult conversations and difficult issues because you're having a laugh while you're doing it. So it's kind of a brilliant script that Cord Jefferson, our writer-director, wrote. So it all begins with that. And it's based on a novel by Percival Everett called Erasure. So check that out.
It's really unique as well. And it's funny because you say it is about conversations, and a lot of the film are really funny, wonderful conversation scenes. And, Sterling K. Brown's been here, Tracee Ellis Ross has been here talking about how wonderful it was to do such good writing. It must, especially when you do these big films like, the James Bond franchise or Hunger Games, to actually just be in a room and acting with a scene partner where it is just about like the words and the emotion. It just must feel so like theater at some point.
Well, I find enjoyment and meaning in whatever I do. I try to, if I choose well. So the scale of the film doesn't really mean that it can't have like real, like emotional depth and real, meaning to those of us who work on it. In fact, we're as committed as we are on any film. This film, I guess, there was something about, there were a couple of things. One, that we had an opportunity to talk about these issues that for example, the first scene takes place in a classroom, and there's a forbidden word on the whiteboard behind me. I'm a professor speaking to a class about Southern literature. And it's a discussion that's happening in classrooms all over the country. It's a discussion that's happening in the political sphere right now. It's a conversation that some people don't want to have. They want to pretend that the history behind this stuff never existed. There's another section that may be traumatized by it, and so it's a difficult conversation. But we wanted to have these conversations within this film. We wanted to dive in that. We thought it was important and timely, as I said, but also it's a story of this family, a family, that you haven't seen before with folks like us, but as I said, looks just like your family.
There you go.
Yeah.
I have a question. You were doing some Zooms, back in the Zoom era, when everybody was doing press during COVID, and you were often in front of a turtle tank.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so you have two turtles?
I have two turtles.
Still with us?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna probably outlive all of us. Yeah.
They're not a good pet to get if you want to be in it for the short run.
Yeah, if you're doing it on a whim. No, they're probably.
Did you get it at the same time or one of?
Both at the same time. My daughter came home with her mom from Canal Street with a little brown paper bag, and there were two like $half size turtles in there. Now they're now like dinner plate size. One is named Nancy Nippleton.
Sure. Classic turtle name.
He's the male. He's the male.
Okay.
And Mouse is the female.
Yeah,
when they were named, we had no idea. But when Mouse laid eggs, it was clear that Nancy Nippleton had fertilized them. So, hey, you know, we're fluid.
Yeah,
we're fluid, baby.
Fluid.
Yeah.
These are modern turtles. We're living in the new era.
Yeah, don't be so uptight, bro. Yeah.
Congrats on the film.
Thank you,
Congrats
man.
on the nomination. Thanks for
Cool.
being back.
Thank you, sir.
American Fiction in theaters now. We'll be right back with John Cryer, everybody.